Do you ever feel like you are here to serve a greater purpose, or that you want to make a bigger impact with the gifts and superpowers that you have? If so, you're going to want to stick around for this video. So, hey everyone, this is the Giver Method and Impact Makers channel, and I want to welcome you all to it. Today, I want to discuss one of the most overlooked areas within personal development, and that's understanding influence and the impact that you can make. So, to help you on this path towards becoming what we call a giver, I'm going to share these 10 different techniques that are going to help you to create positive influence, and maybe call out a couple of negative ways that people use influence that I think you should avoid. But if you're the type of person who's on personal and professional path to developing themselves, I imagine you're going to be avoiding those anyways. Before we dive in, my name is Jake. I'm the founder, chief giver over at the Giver Method, and we are all about helping people to find and develop their gifts and superpowers so they then can identify the right people to have influence on, which is what we're talking about today, and to make it impactful and intentional, how to provide value to those people without asking for anything in return, and of course, how to have eager engagements, because the outcome, once again, is going to be that you will find that you have relationship riches that come to you, and that when you develop your superpowers and gifts and you give them without asking, the universe has a way of paying you back. And so I want to invite you into that and to start your path towards becoming a giver. Once you become a giver, you'll be able to transform lives with your gifts and superpowers, make that greater impact, have better connections, and live a more fulfilled life, becoming the person that it is that you want to be. So before we get started, of course, make sure that you like the video, comment your thoughts along the way, follow us, subscribe to the channel. You can check us out on all sorts of places like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all sorts of stuff like that, or check us out at thegivermethod.com. Now, before we dive into those 10 techniques, I just want to share something with you. We have kind of an exciting opportunity. We are actively seeking 5 individuals, people who want to be joining our upcoming Giver Academy, which is going to be an 8-week group online program designed to help take you through the Giver Method. It's perfect for those who are ready to truly take your journey to the next level and become a giver and an impact maker. In this workshop, we dive into things like identifying and developing your superpowers, learning to overcome fears or obstacles that may be holding you back, discovering how to create that value that's so vivid and clear that it makes a lasting impact. We want you to connect with like-minded individuals who are on similar journeys, and that you're going to receive personal guidance on how to unlock your full potential. So if you want to unlock that, if you want to get your superpowers and start making a greater impact, the impact that maybe you were born to make, then go ahead and send an email to info@thegivermethod.com with the subject line, "I'm ready," and we'll send you some more details about the workshop. So now let's dive into the 10 techniques that are going to help you to create more influence. Influence can be as big or complex as when you have nations trying to create alliances, when you have nations trying to work with rogue nations. And it can be as simple as, giving someone a kind compliment, supporting people, giving a smile to someone to enhance their day. Because every time we try to affect people, how they think, how they behave, how they decide, we're trying to influence them. We want that to be positive. So think of things like a smile, a handshake, attempts to socialize. Like, there's going to be all sorts of things that we cover to form a better connection, and that helps you to break down barriers. As you do that, the 10 techniques we're going to cover, it's going to be way more likely that people are going to be willing to say yes to your requests and be willing to let you give your gifts and superpowers to them and to receive that value that you want to create. So the first thing is thinking about the fact that logic is very powerful. People often decide with their hearts, and then they justify it with their heads, with the reasoning behind it, right? So the first technique is gift-guided reasoning. Use your gifts to explain your ideas logically. It's great at simplifying down complex. You could utilize that if you're superpower. You use that to make your point that is clear and reasonable. So how can I use my gifts to make sense of the situation that we're doing? The second way that you can build more influence or create influence, that technique, is going to be to create authentic authority. Like, instead of trying to appeal to some sort of external authority, become an authority because of your actions, because of your expertise, and because people see the example that you are. You can use your superpowers to build your credibility naturally. When you genuinely embody your values, people will trust your guidance. Number 3 is that you want to be creating a win-win situation by offering your gifts freely. The whole big concept within the Giver method is that giving of your gifts without asking for anything in return. And if you want to be able to create more influence, people will notice that and they'll recognize it. People will gravitate towards you. I mean, in the Giver method, we emphasize this, like the give without expectation. When you give value first, cooperation, people being inspired, impacted, like it just follows naturally. So make sure that you're doing a value exchange. Number 4 is being confident with self-expression. When you express what you believe and who you are with a quiet confidence that comes because you know what your gifts and superpowers are. It's not always about being loud, it's about being authentically you. So when you speak from the heart, people are going to listen. So express yourself that way from a confident place of who you truly are or who you're trying to become. Number 5 comes down to, it's going to connect so much to the idea of empathy that I have to cover in every video almost, and it peppered throughout multiple chapters of the Giver Method book. It's heart-centered connection. And that's where empathy becomes a superpower as well, and it can shine. You need to get to know others deeply. We talk a lot about that we have videos on engagement where you are going to be finding common ground. You're going to make sure that they feel appreciated and seen and heard. We talk about creating vivid value, and part of that is that heart-centered connection. That's how it gets so clear that the value you're giving to them is because it's coming from that place. The 6th technique is going to be relationship nurturing. This should be pretty easy. The Giver Method's all about creating relationship riches. So you want to cultivate deeper relationships, more meaningful relationships over time. And you can do that by using your gifts consistently and adding value to the lives around you and impacting those and trying to level up all of those around you. When you are truly a giver, influencing becomes such a natural extension of your caring and the things that you can bring to every interaction. The 7th technique is going to be collaboration and collaborative problem solving. Don't feel like you know all the answers. You don't. You may be an expert or you may have a superpower in something, but you still need to come together as a group to work together. When you engage others, the way you do that is with thoughtful questions. You're going to provide value in what their input is versus yours and not try to push them one way or another. It's going to align perfectly with what we talk about eager engagement principle in the Giver Method, because you're going to genuinely involve people. You're going to grow together, and it's that idea of eager where they're going to be excited to come together and work through the problems, to find solutions, to come to you when they need help. Number 8, when trying to create more influence, is going to be to use value-based inspiration. When you have any sort of a shared values or emotions with other people, it is easier to create the influence, create the connection, and enhance your ability to serve them. So you can use things like we've talked about empathy to connect with others. The idea, though, is how do we get into the deepest motivations of what someone is about? A lot of that comes down to their beliefs. It comes down to their core values. And so you can create a much more lasting impact and real change when you approach it from a value-based inspiration or direction. Number 9, you need to be living your own message. If you're wanting to make a change and an impact, then you need to actually be the change you want to see. You need to use your gifts and superpowers constantly. You need to consistently be using them. You need to be reflecting on them. We talk a lot about journaling and weekly reflections so that you can think back on how did I use my gifts? How was I intentional about it? And how was that received? What could I have done better or different? Because when you truly embody your gifts, it's going to inspire other people without even trying. And once again, that's at the heart of the Giver Method. It is all about leading by example, becoming the person you want to be. And the 10th way that you can create more influence is look at it from a community building perspective. I'm trying to build a community. I'm trying to build everyone around me up. And maybe that's connecting with other people who want to be givers and are looking to make an impact like yourself. But if you're looking to up-level those around you, your friends, your family, your coworkers, you're going to be creating a community of people who have that positive focus together. So you want to connect with those people, and you want to be able to share your passion for making a difference and use that to amplify your impact. because together at that point, you can create much bigger waves in a ripple that lead towards positive change. Now, anytime that you're dealing with influence, you have to make sure that you are staying away from the concepts of things like manipulating others. It's more about using your gifts for that genuine connection and a positive change. As we say, the Giver method, when you give freely of your unique talents, your gifts, your superpowers, the universe will pay you back in amazing ways. So when we think about influence from that more darker or negative side, there are a bunch of them, and you want to avoid them. I mean, these are negative because they take away from a person's like legitimate right to say no, or to choose, or to let themselves go down a path that they want to go down. Like, it's going to force them to comply with something that's contrary to their own wishes, their own beliefs, their own interests. They get misled. They're forced to act in a way than they would otherwise choose, which I don't know if you heard, that goes against all 10 things we just covered. So 4 really key things that you want to be careful of and watch out for when it comes to like negative influences, things like avoiding, not taking responsibility, being passive aggressive. There's also manipulating, like manipulation of influencing, so lies, deceit, hoaxes, not disguising your real intentions. The third one is like intimidating, which, I mean, is clear. Imposing yourself on others, forcing people to comply by being loud or overbearing, aggressive. Like, that just doesn't give to the idea of being a giver. And one of the 4th really big negative ones that I'm sure none of you are doing, which is threatening. Of course, harming others, threatening to get someone to comply. I mean, I would imagine, once again, if you're watching this, that none of these are you. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have made it through the 10. So we're just going to move past that because it should be kind of a no-brainer. So flipping it back to more of a positive focus, there are some key principles that all underline within those 10 techniques, okay? 1, building trusted relationships with those around you. That seems key. It seems like it's super easy to understand. Number 2 is listening. You have to listen intently. We talk a lot about active listening. So that is key in all of the techniques that you're going to be doing. Being consistent with what you're doing, not changing yourself day by day. Doing it with confidence and presenting your ideas so that you can be confident. People are going to listen. So make sure that as you approach these 10 techniques, that you're doing so with confidence. Now, once again, remember, arrogance is different than confidence. So we're not talking about arrogance, we're talking about being confident. So let's be justified in the confidence and not unjustified with like arrogance. The 5th principle that goes into all of them is like compromise when you can. Clearly, once again, you don't have all the answers, so you have to be willing to work with people. You have to choose your battles, things like that. And of course, the 6th one is going to be personable, like show interest in others, be real, be authentic. Like, that's going to go so far. And if you are trying to then take your gifts and superpowers, you're trying to go down that path of becoming who you want to be, and you're being authentic to that, people are going to gravitate towards it. So take those 6 principles, look at how they play into those 10 techniques, okay? Continue on this growth path. Always believe, always believe in what you're doing. If you are on that path of growth, no matter if you're at step 1 or step 32, believe that you can get there, because the universe is waiting for you. Like, by utilizing these techniques, these principles, you enhance your ability to take your gifts and superpowers and influence the right people with them at the right time. I promise you, it's going to enhance your personal and professional relationships. It's going to make where you have a more influence and can make a greater impact long term. Now, as we explore this inside of the Giver method, when you want to tap into your superpowers, you not only enhance your own life, but like you're positively impacting everyone around you. So I'm going to challenge you to try and look at those techniques and look at the principles behind them and find ways that you can implement that into your daily life. Reflect back on that. Well, who is the people that I want to influence? Who do I have influence over? Who do I want to have greater influence on? And how can I use these techniques, these principles, to do that, to get myself there? If you want to take that and you want to take your personal growth journey to the next level, then once again, I want to remind you about the Giver Academy, 8-week online workshop that we're going to be doing. This is your chance to dive deep into the Giver method, overcome obstacles, create vivid value, connect with like-minded individuals. We're looking for 5 people who want to start that path, want to unlock their full potential and become a giver and a true impact maker in their own right. Remember, you have gifts that are in you. You've got talent, skills that can be developed into being much more of a gift and much more of a superpower. And it's time to stop procrastinating, stop holding back, and start making the impact that you were born to make. Now, you may not be consciously holding yourself back, but just think about that. How can I do more to move faster? And that's why we do things like the GIVER, the 8-week GIVER workshop, because it will change you in that way. So if you're ready to embark in that journey, I remind you once again, you can send an email to info@thegivermethod.com. Put the subject line "I'm ready" in there, and we will send you details about the workshop. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share it with someone who you think would be helpful. Share your comments down below. Until next time, keep giving, keep growing, keep making that impact, and we will see you in the next one.